All right, so I was rudely interrupted by the regulating agency who was trying to just want to send them money. That's all I got to do for my renewal. Just let me send them money, FINRA, please. I want to give you money. All right, anyway, so we talked about the consistency of Bill Belichick and the Patriots, which is nuts. All right, now let's talk about the consistency, shall we, of Americans. All right, there is no consistent 1%. Those people change all the time. Now, at the end of the day, if the reason I am in favor of an estate tax is because there are some people, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, that do stay up there forever. And, you know, a lot of those people got there by just good old-fashioned hard work, man. No other way around that. And they got there, they were good, smart with their money. But the reason I favored an estate tax is because at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're sending money to charitable organizations and trusts and foundations that are not amenable. Is that the right word? They're not pro-capitalism. They're pro-left-wing jargon and stuff. And we gotta look, man. You can't sit there and say you want more and more taxes, as these guys do, and then turn around and use the charitable exemptions in which to fund the left-wing groups. You can't do that. So, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. So what I say is there are cases now of consistent wealth being created I say hoarded because it's not our money, it's their money. But we should, as a society, we should say that's great. You were able to consistently retain your wealth at death. That's what I'm saying, at death, at estate tax at death, but we are going to get a decent amount of that. Now, but Josh, there already is an estate tax. Well, not necessarily if you leave, $8,000 billion to a foundation or a charity or your college or something like that. No, get rid of the exemptions on that. Get rid of the deductions. Say no more deductions. Once you achieve a certain amount of wealth, you can leave it to charities for sure. But if you do, you're still paying a estate tax on the entirety of the amount. So if you think about it like this, we'll just use we use Trump. Trump's got $10 million, all right? $10 billion. And for simplicity, we're going to say there's no estate tax exemption. No estate tax exemption. So Trump says, look, man, I want Barron and the rest of my crew to get my money, but I'm also going to leave a lot of money to charity so it doesn't get suffered to estate tax. And what they'll do is they'll set up trust in which that Trump is no longer the owner, Barron is no longer the owner. Barron will receive the money via a trustee who owns it, but there is a lot of taxation there. So even though Barron doesn't own it, even though Trump doesn't own it, it is still subject to estate tax when the trust. There's a lot going on there, and it's certainly subject to income tax. The taxation on trusts is enormous. I think if a trust retains like $13,000 of income in any given year, it's in the highest tax bracket there is. So in Trump's case, again, using him as my bogeyman because everyone hates the Trumpster, if he wants to leave it to Barron, but he doesn't want Barron to get the actual assets, yes, it would escape estate tax. That's true. Because he's funding a trust, he's gifting money to a trust in which the beneficiaries will benefit with income, and some they used to call it 5 and 5, 5% of principal, or 5% of principal, or $5,000 a year. I don't know if they still call it 5 and 5. I just don't know, but that's what they used to call it. So that is what will come out of the trust. All right, now it's still someone's paying tax on this money, so it's not tax free. It might not be estate tax free, but certainly not income tax free. And as I just said, retained income in a trust is taxed horrifically. So it's not getting away from taxation. Now, Trump could also say, I'm going to give the rest of my money, my $5 billion money, I'm going to give it to the NRA, the Institute of Legislative Action. And we don't know Trump won't do that. But let's just say he did, because he really wants to stick it to everybody and take care of the NRA. Well, the Institute of Legislative Action, the ILA, for which I have donated myself, a couple $100, not much, is a 501c3 or 501c. I think it's 501c, right? So it's a charitable entity, which means donations are tax deductible. So if you donate, the Trumpster donates that $5 billion at death to the NRA ILA, Institute for Legislative Action, his estate doesn't pay any money on that $5 billion. And the NRA pays no tax on that $5 billion as well. You see how corrupt this could be? So think about it. Greenpeace or a Sierra Club or a WWF World Wildlife Fund, all these corrupt organizations, all of them, they sweat rich sugar daddies in because they want to show that they're environmentally conscious and they want their names to be spoken very well. They leave all this money to these green do-gooders who are not green, they're watermelons, and these watermelons who run these charitable entities pay no income tax, or the charitable entity does not. The estate of the do-gooder who wants to be perceived as, he's just great for the environment, the state pays no income tax because they're leaving it to the charities. And guess what the charity can do? And guess what the charity will do? They'll raise salaries like you wouldn't believe, pay huge salaries, because it's all tax exempt. Now again, the recipient of those salaries pays income tax, don't get me wrong. But if you're some freaking dude from, you come up through the Al Gore campaign and now you're the CEO of Greenpeace now, and you're convincing Bill Gates to leave you $5 billion at your death, and Bill Gates dies, that $5 billion finds its way part and parcel to Greenpeace with no taxation whatsoever. What do you think is going to happen to your salary? Your salary is going through the roof because essentially you are getting subsidies by the taxpayer in which to advocate for left-wing causes. I mean, it's a freaking scam, man. It's a great gig if you get it. All use the tax code to fight for communism and socialism, to fight to keep poor people poor, to fight to keep people having to pay extraordinary high electricity and energy costs. But not for you, because you are loving life. You say, man, I volunteered some for Al Gore. I got to work on his presidential campaign or whatever it is, and now I find myself CEO of Greenpeace. And when Bill Gates dies, I get $5 billion tax-free, and salaries, it's going to be party time on Greenpeace. I mean, this is how it works. So my proposal is, all right, if you died because you were consistent, you were the Tom Brady and the Bill Belichick's of corporate America, of the United States, and you died with a consistent wealth of that kind of money, you're going to pay. You're not going to be able to get an estate tax exemption, even if you give it to charity. So if Bill Gates wants to leave it to the good donors group, whatever the hell they're called, and Warren Buffett, more power to them, but they're still paying Uncle Sam estate tax because we need the money more than Greenpeace does. The U.S. government needs it because we got, and this is the funny thing about why Bill Gates can kiss my butt and Warren Buffett too. We want to pay higher taxes. Then why are you leaving it to tax-exempt charities, huh? You want to pay higher taxes? Just stroke that check to the IRS right now, Warren. Just do it. Not one guy stopping you. Just instead of leaving it your estate at your death, you can still take care of your version of Barron Trump, but leave the rest to IRS, so the IRS can say, look, we have a situation big time with Medicaid. It's bad, and we need to finance it. And if Bill Gates can help out a little bit, we're going to do that. Bill Gates said, you don't understand how much taxes I pay. You're the same guy who's saying you're okay if we raise taxes. That's what makes it crazy. Bill Gates, I already paid a lot of tax. Yeah, guess what? But you're also the same guy who says you're willing to pay more. Well, I'm saying you should be willing to pay more by having it in a state that doesn't get tax exempt donations to groups like Greenpeace. And you're like, so which one is it going to be? You're like, I'm okay with paying more tax. Okay, well, let's make it happen. At your death, your estate gets no tax exemptions, no charitable deductions, none whatsoever. So if you want to leave that $5 billion to Greenpeace, it will be net, I tell you, of what? It'll be net of the estate tax you're going to have to pay. All right? And so that estate tax you're going to have to pay will come out of the amount you're going to leave to the charity. So instead of $5 billion, it might be $4 billion. So you're leaving $1 billion, which we'll spend in about 2 weeks' time, hell, probably in freaking 2 days' time at the U.S. Treasury. But that will go a long way to helping finance programs that you think we need to raise income tax on everybody to help poor people in the United States. So it's a win-win for Bill Gates, a win-win for the taxpayer, and a win-win for the capitalists, the true entrepreneurs out there who are fighting every day, clawing and scraping to get by, to fight against the corporate titans who are trying to eliminate, to create more and more barriers to entry, so that way less people can compete with them, so they can keep their money. And that's what's happening here. These bigwigs, we know what's going on, man. These bigwigs, they're just trying to keep their money so they can say, hey, we've got it. We don't want anyone else to have it. We don't want anyone else to have a chance to get it. That's what's going on. And the way we could avoid that is to say, look, we're okay with you getting all that money once you're, once you're building up your wealth. But but at your death, I mean, we're gonna have to get some of that money. We're gonna have to get some of that money because that is equity, and you are all about equity, right? That is consistency. So we'll say at the end of the day, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, you won 6 Super Bowls, went to 3 others, went to AFC Championship a number of times too, with the Broncos, the Ravens. I don't think they ever lost the Steelers in the AFC Championship. So we're gonna basically say you can't. We're gonna take one of the Super Bowl titles from you because you were too successful. Obviously, that's a little bit different, but that'd be the same concept. Say, hey, no, that's right, man. You go to your grave and you've done great, Bill Gates, but we're gonna take some of that money. And when we do, that's what you said because you said you were for raising taxes anyway. So here's the way to do it. All right, we'll see you.